Hi, and welcome back to Holy Heck. I am your co-host, Katie.
And I'm your co-host, Grace.
And we are free flow in this episode.
Yeah, we are.
And we're doing a topic that I feel like every single person has asked us to talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm really excited because we're kind of bookending this season with
That's crazy.
dating and marriage. So excited.
Fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have
to it.
such different dating
We
experience that like it's such a good full-rounded topic to discuss.
Because we get a little bit of one end, a little bit of another end, and then we like can meet in the middle a little bit. And so I'm excited for this topic.
I will forewarn you guys. I did not sleep well last night, and I had a double shot espresso this morning.
Yeah.
So I actually feel like I am outside of my body.
Yeah.
I feel enlightened.
Yep. We went out to a friend's birthday brunch, and I'm sitting next to Katie, and she just looks over at me. She's like,
Do you know what I feel like? It feels like Avatar: The Last Airbender when Sokka drinks the cactus juice.
oh my goodness,
And
that's a good description.
His pupils dilate, and he's like, it's the Quenchians. That's what I feel like.
That's kind of higher acting, but it's okay. I like caffeinated Katie. I think it's fun. I had a coffee too, and it wasn't decaf.
Yep.
But ironically, I don't feel the shakes.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, so I'm
Gonna
not
be a
there
fun
with
episode.
you, but I will get there. But right now, what are you sipping on?
I have a peach pineapple bloom pop.
That sounds
which
delicious.
I am obsessed
Peach,
with.
anything peach.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please.
So Bloom is normally an energy drink, but they have these prebiotic sodas, and normally I'm I'll do the Olipop, but I only like the crisp apple flavor of Olipop because I can't get behind the flavors.
Yeah.
I just don't like them.
Yeah.
But the Bloom ones are so sweet, but they only have
But they're
3 grams of sugar.
I was gonna say they don't have a ton of sugar.
And they're still all the prebiotic stuff. So
Love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah. What do you have?
This is new find at Costco, which you absolutely despise. It is
Nasty.
the Hum Probiotic Kombucha. It's mango and passion fruit, and it is so good. This one again, if you don't like kombucha, you actually might like this one because it's a lot more heavy on the black tea and green tea. Even Kyle, my husband, he hates kombucha. He's had 4 of them. He loves them, and which I was surprised by because I kind of was like, "Ooh, a beverage for me." Nope, they're ours now. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, but I've got a kombucha.
All
Cheers.
right, well, cheers to dating.
Cheers to dating.
Oh man, where do we even start? So okay, let's start with
Maybe the questions we were asked. Why do people want us to talk about dating in our lives, in our little circles?
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like we've had such different dating experiences that I feel like I have people that come to me and are like, how the heck did you find Joey?
Yeah.
And I'm literally like, couldn't tell ya.
You're like, ask God.
Yeah. And then I feel like on the opposite side, we'll have people that are like, well, how do you date well as a Christian? What are you supposed to do with dating? What does dating look like?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's such a modern day thing.
Yeah.
Where dating is very cultural.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like Christianity within that is so, they don't define what to do. Or when they do, it's hella freaking weird.
You're just like, I'm so sorry. What?
Yeah, and you're
Are we still courting?
Is this
I don't know.
Fundamentalist LDS?
Yeah, you're
this
like,
is
I'm
bizarre.
very confused. Yeah, and then I feel like I get a little bit of the opposite of the spectrum since, of course, I got married young and Kyle and I have a little bit of an age gap. I get a lot of people come to me who are like, hey, how did you navigate X, Y, and Z, your friends, your family?
Yeah.
It's either you'll tell people and they're like, oh, you guys are almost 5 years apart, or you tell people and you're like, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
There's not many people in the middle. It's either one or the other I've encountered.
Oh, this is a good one. I feel like even though your family might have been different, I feel like the culture you were raised in was the strict Christian dating.
Yeah, it was.
And for me, it was the opposite. It was the culturally Christian. They were my parents and stuff
so it's
were
a little bit more.
Yeah, they were well, yeah, we're Christian, but also very worldly.
Gotcha. And again, yeah, like you said, very strict Christian dating.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Cool.
let's start. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Either. I don't mind. I'm a little chatty right now.
Okay, go
Yeah,
for it.
I feel like, let me just talk about my background of dating a little bit. Growing up, I think I may have mentioned this before. I never had a sit-down conversation with my parents where they were like, you are not allowed to date until you're 15. Never had that. To be honest, I just wasn't interested in boys. I think just because family stuff, again, I didn't have the greatest example of a man in my life. And so I think it just kind of was always in the back burner of my mind. Now, of course, you're young and you have celebrity crushes and all this and that. But when it came to my class and people around me, I just kind of was like, meh. I always thought, I was like, no, I'm going to get married way, way later in my life. And I was fine with that. But I have 2 older sisters, and I'm definitely the type of kid where I would see what they would do, and that's good enough for me to learn from experience. I didn't have to go by trial and error. Like I would see something my sister would do and she would get in trouble and I'd be like, okay, note to self, do not do that. So, I mean, that was kind of nice because again, I have 2 older sisters who have had different types of relationships here and there. And so I always kind of got to watch them, and it was kind of a unique position. I'm a pretty observant person and like quiet little kid. So I would just observe and watch and interact. And I knew, unfortunately, like my parents' relationship was pretty rocky in the divorces. And then even my mom's other relationships, I was constantly watching that. And so I knew subconsciously in my head as I like got into high school and stuff that I was like, I would like to not to have that same like route of relationships. And so at the time too, I've touched on this as well. My oldest sister met her husband and they were in high school and they started dating and they were such a wonderful example for me. And we would go out and do sister things, whatever, get her nails done. Yeah. And she would like talk to me about the relationship. And I have this memory of, so I learned to drive in a Toyota Sequoia and a Hummer. And I have this memory. My sister had a red Hummer and we were driving around our neighborhood. And then
dang, so you like rich.
No. We were driving around in our neighborhood. And then her husband came and was in the car and I was in the back just chatting. And they like got into an argument in a tiff. And like they solved it, whatever, with me in the car. And I remember they turned to me and they're like, hey, like we want you to know like it's really healthy for you to see us argue a little bit and like work through it. Because this is normal. And I was like, oh, thank you. Because again, I didn't really see my parents argue. I would just see my dad get mad and shut down. And that was it. And so I have memories of that. And even my middle sister, it's not like, again, like I said, I wasn't like all about boys or really crazy. But when they would get in relationships, they'd be like, okay, so like you like each other. Tell me about it. Like I would want to know and I'd ask. And I truly just like prayed a ton. I always prayed of like, Lord, please give me a one and done. Like, please like let it be so abundantly clear. That was just always my prayer. And this is super silly too, because sometimes I feel like in Christian culture, you have to have a fine line of when you're seeking out advice with dating. Yeah. And so there's actually a couple who I love. Their name are Chad and Tori Masters. They're like Christian influencers and they have had so many like YouTube videos, podcasts on dating. And I just like watched all of them. Like I just consumed so much media of like Christian dating, looking out for like what does it mean to be intentional with dating? Like why do we want to date to get married? Like what is the purpose of marriage? Why do you want to date people? Like how do you know you're ready to start dating? Yeah. And so I just watched a ton of that and I was like, cool, like I'll be on the lookout. I've met many guys, like no one has piqued my interest at the thought of like, oh, they'd be a good husband, they'd be a good dad or whatever. But again, with my older sister, she like sat me down one time and was like, hey, like I want you to know, like the process of dating and getting married, like our purpose or our reason for marriage and dating is like you date to get married. Yeah. And so with her and her husband, she was like, when we like first started dating, we're like, oh no, we're only going to do this if we want to get married. And like, we prayed the prayer of like, Lord, if we're not for each other, like let it be done. Like we'll break us apart. Like, cause we don't want to AKA like waste time or whatever it may be. But I was really raised with that instilled in my head from my older sister. And then again, most of it was me searching for that info because I didn't see it firsthand. Yeah, it's a little bit, I guess, in depth, kind of not. A little bit of backstory of my mindset going into dating.
And then dating with Kyle.
Yes.
So how did that go?
Yeah. Like, it started off, Kyle and I's relationship was always wonderful. However, how we handled the start of our relationship was hard. Because again, it's like I knew all these wonderful things, or in my head of like, I wanted to find somebody who like I was attracted to, who I thought we had good compatibility. Above all else, I wanted a believer, someone who was a strong believer. Yeah. And like really search and look for that, but also I'm super outdoorsy. Like I wanted someone I can get along with, you know, you could spend the rest of your life with. And so when I had met Kyle, like I said before, we had just become friends and we just always hung out in group settings. And literally from the day I met him, I was like, you're going to be a really important part of my life. I don't know how, but you are. Yeah. And so the more we hung out, I had actually sat him down and was like, hey, like I actually like have feelings for you, you know, like, again, don't discount me because I'm younger than you. Like, think on it, pray on it. And then anyways, we ended up dating. And we just kept doing what we were doing. We just did everything together. Hiking, backpacking, like just fun stuff.
And you guys are each other's like first boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, both of
official.
you. Wow.
First kiss, first handhold, first boyfriend, girlfriend, like officially. I had like kind of talked to, I know that sounds really silly, like 2 other guys in high school. And
had crushes on.
Yeah, like we like went out to coffee a few times. And then after I was like, meh. Like I was like, I'm good. And then I met Kyle and I was like, oh no, like I actually really like this guy. Like we get along really well. Which is funny because again, I feel like people say you typically kind of go for someone who's just like your dad or really opposite. And I feel like I ran so hardcore opposite.
Oh yeah. I've never even thought about that comparison for my situation at all. I'm gonna have to think on that.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But
But so again, like in the beginning of our relationship, I didn't realize the amount of like attachment I would have that was not healthy at first, because again, it was like I got pretty confident, and like I feel like I worked through a ton of like the stuff that I had going on in the background of like my relationship with my dad. But again, you can never truly realize you may have something still lingering of trauma or whatever until you're faced with that situation. Totally
real.
And so like starting to date Kyle, again, like since I didn't see my dad or know my dad too well, it was so weird because little things would trigger, again, not that like we're not perfect people, but little things would trigger me being like, oh my gosh, like I have to make sure like this man knows I love him, because what if one day he's gonna get up and leave? Like I noticed a lot of that. So in the beginning of our relationship, I was like, well, I guess I just need to have him around 24/7. And so it was that. So
it's almost
like
the validation, like scaries.
Yeah, and I didn't realize. And so I would constantly have him over. And then for a little point in time, like one of my good friends in my family at the time was like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, you guys don't seem to like do much outside of hanging out with each other. Like, do this. And that was such a big wake up call for me, because I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it. Like, again, we were still doing normal, like things of like hiking and backpacking, but not backpacking and just lump that in there with outdoor stuff. But board game nights, young adults, like we were still doing all our normal stuff. But I was like, oh man, my mindset was such a scarcity point of view of like, if I like have a little bit of alone time, then he'll leave, because I truly did really like him. And so that was a little difficult to get over, but I had wonderful friends and wonderful family to be like, hey, we noticed that you guys are like kind of being a little scarcity here. And so like that was and so that was a really big wake up call. And then I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. And I've touched on it before, but we were our first friends in our friend group to get into relationships, to start dating, and then to get married.
What was the timeline too?
Let me remember. The timeline of like, we had met each other.
Yeah, like how long were you friends before you started dating? And then how long did you date before you got engaged?
I want to say we were friends before we started dating. It was around 5 months.
Okay.
Around 5 months. And then we started dating. And
did you know instantly? Were you like, I kind of have a crush on him?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For those 5 months, were you like,
oh yeah. The first day I met him, like I said, I was like, you're going to be a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And like, I just thought he was really cute and funny. And like, we got along. This is so silly. But the restaurant we were eating at, he was like across from me, a chair or two. And he was like being silly, like putting on onion rings as a bracelet. And we were just cracking up. And like the group of people we were with were hilarious. But again, he's observant like me. So we'd catch things and like look at each other and just snicker and lose it. Like, so again, from that day, I was like, oh, we get along really, really well. Anyways, so yeah, I just had
friends for 5 months and then
started dating. And then we were engaged for, started dating. We were dating for 4 months. Dating for 4 months, we got engaged. And then we were only engaged for, 4 months.
Wow.
And then we got married.
We love it. I love it.
And like, again, it was like a pretty fast timeline, but at the same time, like after we got over a little bit that like codependency of like, oh no, like your love, it was such a big reflection on my relationship with the Lord at the time too, of like, oh, God's love is not going to leave me. Period. Like, and I don't have to sit here thinking I have to do something to earn it. And so that was such a wake up call. And I had like faced the same thing with Kyle. And again, this man, so patient, so kind, so reassuring. And I was like, you are triggering a lot of trauma I didn't realize I needed to work through. Like, I'm so sorry, but thank you for working through it with me. And like, I would find myself too, this is like so sad, but I would find myself, we would have like wonderful days where we'd go to like Bend, Oregon for the day or the beach or whatever. And we'd have a wonderful day and I'd be like sad. And Kyle would be like, why are you sad? And I'm like, I just feel like something bad's going to happen. Because like normally when I would have really good days, I would come home and something would happen. Whether it was like, oh, we're getting divorced or like, you know what I mean?
Literally PTSD.
It is. And so like I had to train my brain and we would just stop and we would just pray. And then I would feel so much better. And like, that's when I really learned to be like, I feel like sometimes in Christianity, when you're raised in a pretty like Calvinist or kind of strict type of denomination, sometimes you forget the power you have in the Holy Spirit because sometimes that could just feel a little woo-woo. And so like, we would literally sit there and be like, Lord, like, I rebuke this anxiety and this fear, like in the name of Jesus Christ, you know? And I'd be like, oh, wow. I didn't realize how much power and weight our words have. And I would instantly, like, the fear and the anxiety would go away. And so that became a pretty big practice of mine. But yeah, so like I found myself getting sad because I was like, oh, I didn't know love like this existed. And so I would feel like I would grieve for my younger self of just being like, wow, like this is so wonderful to be treated like this by a human, you know? And like, it was just kind of sad because I was like, oh, bummer I didn't know this sooner, but how lucky and wonderful am I that like I met a patient, kind, such a godly man. Seriously, he's like one of the most biblical people I know. And anyways, so, but we received from some of our friends who like, I'm going to say the term friends loosely. It was like friends by association, quite a bit of flack. Like the ones who didn't know us too well were very like, why are you guys getting married? Like, what's the purpose of that? Yeah. Like, okay, you. Like, we're very weirded out. And then, like, my closest friends were like, I'm so happy for you guys. Oh, my gosh, you fit so well. Like, all that. Yeah. And so that was hard because, like I said, like, the entirety of our relationship, we made sure to have our own strong faiths, but we also were, like, praying together, doing Bible studies, and, like, continuously, like, seeking after the Lord's will and praying. As weird as it is, we literally were like, Lord, if this is not the person I'm supposed to marry, break it off. Give us a reason. Yeah. And like nothing. We just got like green light after green light. And then we should get married. Okay, we should get married. Even like from literally when the first time we were sitting in the car together and that's when he asked me to be his girlfriend. Right then and there, I was like remembering my oldest sister's little voice in my head. And I was like, okay, so what are our intentions with dating here? And we like had that whole conversation the first time we started dating of like, I don't want to date to date. Like I'm dating to get married. I'm dating to find a life partner, a ministry partner. And he was like, me too. And we're like, cool.
Okay, so your dating experience has and always will be just like this beautiful, like Christ-centered.
Yeah, and again, like I want to fully admit and own up to like it being a little codependent in the beginning, like I said.
Okay, but like I don't even think that's
because I was just like, I love this man. I want to do absolutely everything with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like, to be completely honest,
like that's normal.
We're
like
married, and like 4 years later, I'm still like, I love this man. I want to do everything with him.
I think there is something to be said about like being a little cautious when you're dating of codependency, but normally that's because like toxicity comes with codependency, where you've got guys that are controlling you and manipulating you and like ostracizing you and cutting you off from everybody to be codependent. I don't feel like that was you guys. No. Like you guys just wanted to spend time together.
Although I like am so curious about some of the people who maybe weren't the most fond of us. I'm so curious at what they thought about us like getting married, packing up and moving to Idaho. I'm just seeing them like, oh, they're gone.
I bet they literally are like at home like, I knew it. He's just abusive. I knew this was going on the whole time.
Meanwhile, I'm like sitting here being like, you've healed so much trauma. Yeah, like, I love you.
It's so funny. Oh, man. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's my background.
Great dating experience.
Yeah, for the most part, I would say so.
Yeah.
It was great.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, how about you? Give us your little bit of rundown, a little bit of
I do have to do a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I will likely talk about sex and intimacy and all that stuff because, again, I was married before I was dating Joey. And so dating after divorce is bizarre.
I can't imagine.
Dating while getting a divorce is bizarre.
Yeah.
All that stuff is bizarre. But I think my dating history, even before my ex, was like, again, I was very much fighting against culture because I was being taught one thing. Yeah. But it was very like the strict, like, I remember our cross-country team was given a book that was like Every Young Woman's Battle. And like, listen, as an adult, great book. Yeah. As a teenager,
you're like, dude.
It was like setting boundaries that I was like, again, I had already way crossed a lot of these. And I had never had like sex before my ex, but like crossed so many boundaries because again, you're in this like tight Christian group where like everything is bad. Yeah. And so like, I didn't do drugs, I didn't do alcohol, but like we kissed a lot and did a lot of other things. And that was like that culture. Like I feel so bad if any of my friends' parents are listening, but our class in particular, so bad. So bad. I was like literally like the goody two-shoes of my class.
And you're
that's saying something. It was so bad. But it was just super, I don't even know how to describe it, but like growing up and being in high school and the hormones and all of the things like are just so insane. And like our culture that we were in, especially being like in Olympia, Washington, we had a lot of transfer students from other schools too. Like it just gets infected. So dating experience before my ex was like, I was fighting against like the culture, but also like trying to like follow Christ with my dating experience, but like not knowing what that looked like at all.
Yeah.
Because I literally remember like my senior year of high school. I'm going to try not to out anybody in particular. But my senior year of high school, I had like people that were like mentors to me, like older than me, like confide in me and be like, oh, like if you don't wait till marriage, like that's totally fine. Like I didn't wait till marriage. And I literally like my entire mind was
mentors?
blown. Yes.
That's wild.
Like I literally was like,
wild for them to tell you. Let me clarify.
I was like, first off, I did not need to know that.
Yeah.
Second off, I should not have known that because I literally was like, I can hold on. Like I can, I can do this. But as soon as they said that, I was like,
well, if they didn't.
These perfect couples that I thought were like these wonderful examples as like Christian couples are like outwardly telling me they did not wait. What is the point?
Yeah.
Does nobody care? And then I felt like I was stupid for caring.
Aw.
So that was hard.
I'm sorry.
And then when I dated my ex, he was not a believer and he had had like 3 girlfriends before that he had like slept with and all this stuff. And so there was like so much pressure. And I had told him outright, I was like, I don't want to do that. And he was like, oh yeah, no, me neither. Totally. And then obviously we did. Yeah. I got pregnant and got married. And I remember like one of the things that led up to us getting a divorce, this was like the last strand I remember, was I was like, I had no respect for him after this, but like we were doing this marriage course to try and like fix our marriage or whatever. And I was already past the point of like, I know he's being abusive, you know, but I was like, I'm hoping that this marriage course might help him realize that so that he can start changing his behavior.
Yeah.
Because I've always told people like, if he loved Jesus or he loved me, we would never have gotten a divorce.
Yeah.
But he didn't do either.
Yeah.
And so like, there was nothing to save.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, guy didn't even like me.
Yeah.
And I remember we did this marriage course, and like one of the questions was like, is there any pent up like bitterness over anything that has happened in your relationship? And I told him, I was like, yeah, like one of the things I'm really upset about is that I had like set clear boundaries for like sex, and you didn't really care. Like you had made it clear that you don't really care. And then you had like kind of used it and manipulated me with it to like, get things. And so he literally looked at me and he was like, God, this is so stupid. This is so like old, Katie, you need to let go of this. Like, it's so dumb that you're still talking about this.
That's crazy.
And I remember like just breaking. And like, that was the moment too that I was like, nothing that he says anymore can like fix this.
Yeah.
Because like, he has made it so very clear. He does not care about me, does not care about my feelings or my emotions. He's not sorry for anything he's ever done. And so that was my dating experience beforehand. And then leaving that and like finding Joey found me.
I do have a question real quick, because like you were saying, like you were kind of fighting those like norms of like what kids were doing, what you're being taught. Were other kids around you, your age, like do like similar things, like sleeping with boyfriends and girlfriends? Oh my gosh, and like
I have a horror story.
Because I was thinking about like how it really does influence the people around you. Because my 2 best friends, one of them, it's almost similar story to me to the T, of like her now husband was like her first official boyfriend. Like she didn't date, she didn't really want to.
Oh, 100%.
Like those are my 2 people that were closest to me.
Yeah.
And like the people around you, I don't know, that's interesting.
Yeah,
to
no,
me
you are what you're friends with.
You are who you're with.
Your influences are like those around you. And so like that was so clear. Our class, dude, this is a horror story. I hope these people listen and feel so ashamed.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna lie to you. In school, there's like these little,
I don't want to know.
There's like these little pockets where the doorways go into that like are hidden from the cameras. Fully given like blowjobs, hand jobs. Yep. During school hours.
And you went to a private Christian school?
Yeah, they would like cover themselves with like hoodies and stuff. But like, bro, we'd all walk past them and be like, what the heck? Yeah, insane,
There's
disgusting,
that much of porn
horrifying.
dogs? Jeez.
Like, bro,
oh my gosh.
cannot.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot even fathom that now.
That's disgusting.
Horrifying. But like, that was my high school, you know?
And so the thought of you being like, oh, I kissed a boyfriend, oh no. Like,
yeah. Like, I was like, well, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that in school.
Yeah.
It was just awful.
That sounds awful.
So yeah, that was a lot of the culture.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I knew things were wrong, but again, I felt like, well, I'm doing the most. Like, I'm trying the best, and I feel like I'm stupid for caring about this. Like, everybody made it feel like I was so dumb for like waiting or like caring about that. So yeah, that was really hard. Influence was heavy there, but again, I like always knew I did not want to. And I was always trying really hard not to. But again, when you're put in those situations and you don't know how to not, I think that was the hardest part, was like not seeing people that were doing it right.
Yeah.
Was like really difficult.
Yeah, because you didn't know how, period.
I literally did not know what boundaries to set, how to set them, how to date like this. And so when Joey and I started dating, we dated long distance. So we were friends.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think I met him in June, July, August, September. We were friends for 4 months before he was like, he was begging the whole time. He was like, please, can we please start dating? And I was like, no. I was like, I literally am like,
I'm gonna marry you.
I'm freshly separated and like trying to get a divorce. And like, you live across the country. And he was like, that's why it's perfect, because we can just date long distance. And I also had a lot of friends, very similar. A lot of friends who were like observing the situation, but weren't talking to me. And they were the ones that were like, you cannot date. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, you're still married. And I'm like, didn't stop my ex from...
You're like, I'm so sorry, we're separated in the process of getting a divorce. Like,
I'm sorry. That's so crass of me. But like, literally my ex was like, had been watching pornography for full 2 years and lying about it to my face. And like, he had cheated on me when I was pregnant and like all this stuff.
Dude, the audacity.
And so I literally was like, I'm so sorry, but you're ridiculing me for talking to a man who does not live here. But you're like, you gotta forgive this guy for like...
Wild man.
Yeah.
We should get into that too, that like part of Christian culture after...
It's just gross. It's just gross. I think that the hardest line, and this is something that I do want to get across when we talk about dating.
Yeah.
Pornography is sexual sin.
Yeah.
100%. There's no doubt about that. And like, if you think about what cheating is,
it's the same thing.
It's just the same thing. Like, I'm so sorry, but people that are like, oh, it's not the same thing. Like, no, it is.
It does the same thing to your brain.
It does the same thing to your brain. It does the same thing to your soul. It does the same thing to your heart. Like, it shatters you. It makes you put comparison against you. It makes you wonder, like, what am I not doing?
Well, sin promises you everything. It gives you nothing. Like,
yep. And so, like, I've always been, like, pornography is cheating.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And so, like, that was such a part of my ex's life. And, like, it created so many insecurities in me that I, again, walking into a relationship with Joey, like, he was so validating and so healing and all of these things, but I got so triggered over everything. Like, I remember, and it was so different. Like, I remember the first time I flew out to go visit him was in October, like, right after we started dating, like, a month after we started dating. I went to go visit him, and I, like, was like, oh, like, you know, do you want music on in the car? He was like, sure, like, here, this is my password. And I was like, whoa, you just, like, gave me the password to your phone, what? And he was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. And I was like...
You're like, oh my gosh, because contrast here, you didn't know your ex's password. You didn't get in his phone at all.
We were married.
Yeah.
And he refused to let me know the password to his phone because he said that I was, like, having trust issues and I needed to work through that.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
And then to be met with Joey. Here you go.
Yeah, no, literally. He was like, oh, yeah. And then I think, like, and then somebody texted him, too. I was like, oh, hey, somebody texted you. And he was like, oh, can you respond to them for me?
You're like, I'm sorry, what? Now I'm in your messages?
Yeah, I was like, you want me to open your messages and look through? And he was like, yes.
You're like, can you tell me
can
when
you
you're
do
dead?
that? And I was like, I can do that. Sure. Okay. And it was like so bizarre.
Yeah.
So healing in so many little ways. And I think that made him realize too how deep the issues were. Like, he was like, whoa, like that's normal, by the way. Like, you should be able to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, totally. I'm fine.
Did you have a lot of those moments too in a different way of like grieving for your past self?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I felt so sad over like the young girl that just like believed and hoped so much. And like we were talking about it today, but I like have such radical empathy with people that like I see broken people and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I can just love them enough, they'll like feel better and be better. And so like that was my ex is like I just felt so bad for him that I was like, I just need to like savior complex. Like I just need to like care about him enough. And then I got taken advantage of over and over and over again because like I believed so much, I hoped so much. I was trying to do everything to compromise myself for this guy because I thought that me compromising myself would make him feel better. Yeah, no, don't do that.
That's crazy how that like it stems from such like you said, a heart of empathy and love and how it just gets taken advantage and twisted.
Yeah, no, it's
because again, also in Christian school, I wasn't sat down and been like, here's a narcissist and how you avoid them. Here's like an X, Y, and Z and how you avoid them. Like that would have been nice to know.
Oh, 100%. Would have been 100% like so helpful to understand healthy dating habits.
Yeah, because even like, again, I feel like that could be allowed too in private Christian schools to like actually talk about relationships and marriages and dating, not just like.
But they talk about it, but they don't talk about it in a healthy way.
That's what I was
feel
gonna
like
say.
it's either like, well, if you're going to date somebody, you marry them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's this weird like.
They're so worried about
sex
that they're like, go full opposite. Never mention it and say the first person you kiss, you're marrying.
Yeah.
Like don't even let them know there's options out there.
Yeah.
And like that's so dangerous. I mean, I understand the worry because you'll have kids who, like me, you can hear something that someone did and be like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to do that. And then you have kids who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. You're like, no, I am a trial by error kid. Like
that was me.
Like I want to know.
Yeah, I was 100% a trial by error kid because I, again, so stupid. I was like, I'm different.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But yeah, so dating Joey long distance, we dated for 7 months.
Okay.
7 months.
Nice.
Maybe 8 before he proposed. And he moved out here. So we dated long distance for 7 months. And I would fly out, he would fly out. And it would be like once a month, once every other month. So we'd like barely get to see each other. But it was so wonderful and helpful. Because I feel like, again, I had crossed so many boundaries with all of my exes.
And you were married.
I was married. Yes.
Married's like pre-game.
Yes. So you're like starting over after having crossed the line. Do you know what I mean? And so like it was so difficult. And like thank the Lord that Joey was like a virgin and like literally had never done anything. Because I was like, if he had, like we would have so crossed lines because I was like, it's just so different. After you've crossed these lines, you have to set harsher boundaries. But nobody was telling me that because again, I was coming from families that like, yeah, they might have gotten divorced, but after their divorce, they didn't date honoring Christ.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying not to out people, but like the dating I saw after divorce from family members or friends was like, oh, I slept over at my boyfriend or girlfriend's house for like the last week.
Yeah.
That was normal. That was like totally normal. And like, I would hear of them having sex or like I would hear them having sex and that was normal. And so like, again, this was like the normal I was seeing and observing, but I was trying to live a different normal.
What a weird like hidden blessing of dating long distance, you know?
Oh no, it was the biggest blessing ever.
Yeah.
Hardest thing in the moment.
But looking back on
later.
it now, you're probably like, oh yeah, like that was needed and that was good.
Yeah. No, it was great. And so every time we'd go to visit each other, like it was so difficult. Like again, so difficult because again, you're dating long distance, and so you're like, you're like, oh my gosh, we did really, really, really well. Really, still difficult and we crossed boundaries. Not happy about, not proud of that we have repented of.
Yeah.
In our marriage, but it was again like. Oh, it was a fight. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like we just gave in and we were like, well, this is the new normal. Like, we, every single time that boundaries were crossed, we were like, no, like, we're setting these stricter boundaries. We're trying harder next time.
To avoid it.
And, like, there were times we'd get, like, mad at each other because we'd be like, you know, like, just stop.
Yeah.
But it was good in the distance dating. And then when he moved out here, I think things got actually better because we were seeing each other more often, which was, like, such a relief.
Less pent up, like, I miss you.
Yeah, it was such a relief to like actually be dating in person. And we only dated for 2 months before we got married, or engaged for 2 months before we got married.
Yeah.
So yeah, a total of 11 months together, dating, marriage, or dating, engagement until we got married. But yeah, I think, it was just the craziest season of our life ever. And like, again, dating after marriage is so difficult because we had so many friends I had friends that were looking at the situation, not actually talking to me, that were like, you cannot talk to this guy. You cannot date this guy. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, you're so right. This looks so terrible. But
That's
then
so hard.
I would go home and I'd like pray about it. And I would have people text me that are like, I'm just so glad that you met Joey. Do you know, like I had people that were like intentionally being like,
I'm not feeling the conviction from the Lord here that you know of and the walk in your faith. But yet I'm over like having people over here stand here making me feel like I should be convicted. Like that's a weird spot to be in.
Well, and the hardest part too was like, because I was being honest and open, people felt like they could speak at it a lot easier. But my ex was dating too.
Yeah.
My ex was dating while we were getting a divorce.
It's wild. But nobody called him out.
Like, he just hit it. But I knew he was dating people. I knew the people he was dating. Like, it was just so frustrating to see that because I think that like they went after me, but they did not go after him.
Yeah.
But again, he like played this victim where he was like, "Oh, she's leaving me because of
and
this
like
terrible
he turned
reason
a lot of your friends
against me." Yeah. So I'm not surprised by it at all, but it is really interesting when you peel it all back.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
Has it been hard for you, or was it hard for you when you make new friends to like still want to like share the beginning of your and Joey's relationship because of like
easier.
a little bit of like because of the reactions?
Easier. Okay. I think that the more that I talk about it, the more that I realize like me and Joey's marriage speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. Like our ministries speak for itself. Yeah. Like who we are speaks for ourselves.
Yeah.
And my ex's actions speak for themselves. I don't have to say anything about his character or anything like that in specific. Like I'll briefly mention, I think we met a new friend like last week. We were driving him to church and he asked, he was like, "Oh, like, you know, so your daughter's dad, like, is he in the picture? Whatever, what happened there?" And I like briefly mentioned it and I was like, "Yeah, like he said like this one thing," and like, and it wasn't like the thing, but I would be like, "This is an example of like what he would say." And I would just say like one thing. Yeah. And every single person that we do, he's like, "Where does he live?"
Like,
because
cracking knuckles,
literally, he's like,
"Come on,
I got a BB gun."
Beat him up.
You know, I'm like, chill. But like, I think that the way he behaved and his actions always speak for themselves, and currently he's still behaving in a way that's like, I think it's very clear. He has not changed. Mm-hmm. He is who he is, and so I think people can see us and see our marriage, and that speaks for itself. So, but we'll get into marriage.
Another episode.
Weeks. Yeah. Back to dating.
Yeah. What are some things that you wish someone flat out would have told you, like getting into dating?
God, so many things. So many things. I wish I had a mentor that was like a genuine biblical mentor.
Yeah.
When I was in high school and dating. Mm-hmm. I think I would have really loved a definition around marriage better.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like modern day Christianity, all this stuff, like marriage is like this weird, almost like picture perfect performance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is a really good topic because I think too, when a lot of people like get into relationships, there's that whole category of people who are like, "Oh, I'm just getting in a relationship because I'm idolizing marriage and I just want to be married."
Oh, idolizing marriage.
Yes, that's a good thing because again, I had friends and people around me who were like, "Oh my gosh, I just can't wait to get married," but they had a single zero interest and no guy around them. So when an opportunity would present itself, they'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna get married. Like, I'm taking it," you know, as opposed to, and then our friend group would kind of be like, "I don't think you actually like this guy." And they're like, "No, I don't. I just want to get married."
Yes.
And it's like, okay.
Yes. It's that idolization. I don't know who's at fault. I'm going to be real with you. Yeah. I don't know if the church is at fault. I don't know if individuals are at fault. I don't know if like mothers are at fault for like romanticizing this or like making it look to be a way that it's not. But like, marriage is a ministry.
Yeah.
Your marriage is a ministry. You are leading each other closer to Christ together. You are ministry partners. Yes. So whatever his ministry is, whatever her ministry is, you guys overlap. Like you do them together.
I'm going to say the two things that I have heard that I feel like helped me too. And I feel like, not to be cheesy, but like they've helped in what I heard. It's just like picturing a little triangle. At the very top is God, and the two other bottom points are like your spouse and you. And like the closer you grow to God, the closer you guys grow together. Yeah. Like that's a good mental picture too, just to have in your head. Yeah. And another one I love that I feel like you and Joey are such an example of is like, again, how someone kind of described to me of like, oh, when you like find a partner you're interested in is like you're running a race and like you're running your direction, your ministry direction, and you look to the right and you're like, oh, they're also running in this direction. No, but I'm going to keep going. Oh, they're here too. Oh, they're still here. And then like you continue together, you know? I feel like you guys embody
it's a pace partner. If you do running at all, it's a pace partner. It's the person that you pick out that's just slightly ahead of you that you're like, if I keep their pace, then I'm going to push myself. And I know that. And I feel like that's what marriage is. Like it literally is like.
Yeah, because no, that's such a good point too. Oh, that's really good. I know this is like a little more marriage, but like this is like good to have in a mindset too when you're going into dating, because it's like, a lot of times people assume I get married and like all my worries go away and like everything's fine, when it's like, no, sometimes that's not true. Like just because you're like in a wonderful relationship, whatever, and you may not have problems with a relationship, but you still have to deal with so much of the outside world that's like, it's putting so much emphasis on, okay, think about who you're marrying. How do they react in certain situations? Like that's huge to think about. How do they act when they get upset? How do they act when they're happy? Like any tiffs come up, how are they arguing and talking? And
okay, I think I've honed it in.
Okay.
dating under high school, for me, it's safe, I think, in one aspect, because again, you haven't crossed boundaries, and so you can get really good at honing those boundaries, if that makes sense. Like, I think it's okay to date in high school. I don't think that you have to, like, cross off boundaries. I'm never gonna be the person that's like, you can never do this.
Yeah.
Because, like, we have free will. Yeah. And I don't think everything is, like, inherently sinful.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to date around. I think it's okay to, like, go check out guys and, like, go see.
I was gonna say that's another big thing. If people are like, well, you're, like, dating. Oh, like, you've had a lot of boyfriends.
You
like,
whore.
no, totally. When it's like, no, like, again, even though I didn't date around, the two guys that I had talked to previously before Kyle were so radically different than Kyle.
Yeah.
And also, again, like, I had some great examples of guys later in my life that I was like, man, when I get a partner, like, I want him to be kind of like this person in this area and this person in this area.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, but you can't learn that if you're with one person. You're like, well, I guess this is the relationship.
Yeah. I think high school's really good because it gives an avenue of, like, accountability because you're with your parents.
Yeah.
You live at home. And so you're, like, kind of almost, like, learning that muscle of boundaries where it's like, you can't stay over.
Yeah. Sorry.
You know?
You're like,
and so you kind of create these habits intentionally or unintentionally that I feel like are really good to bring into adult dating. And again, I've known people that have been high school sweethearts and like get married right after and stuff like that. I think that's totally fine. I'm not going to speak too much on teenage dating because I feel like, again, it's not the most serious or the, like, where the issues come in most. I think that it can be because, again, like in my situation, I met somebody in high school and thought I had to marry them.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that I would kind of speak on when it comes to that is, like, if you've crossed boundaries, you should probably not marry that person. I think that's the only thing that I have to say on that.
It's, like, not a bad point, you know?
Yeah. Again, I think it's one thing if it's like, wow, there were two people involved in this and, like, we really just, like, love each other and this was really difficult.
Like, bummer
versus, like, wow, they really did not respect my boundaries or listen to me or care about them the same way I did.
That's a good distinction.
Yes.
To try and figure out
if
where that
somebody
line is.
doesn't care about your boundaries the way that you do, run.
Yeah.
Like, literally just run.
Yeah. Because what makes you think they will now?
No. Yeah. Even when if you get married later, they're not going to respect your boundaries then. And that does not only apply to, like, sexual boundaries. That implies to, like, hey, I'm not comfortable with you, like, hanging out with girls one-on-one. Or, like, any of these other things that you set. Like, if they don't care about your boundaries, they don't care about your boundaries.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. I think dating after high school.
Yeah. Let's talk about, like, young adults out of high school, college.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm observing a lot of this lately, which has been really wonderful to see and experience. I think the biggest thing that I could give advice for is, like, don't feel like you have to just start dating. Like, if you see somebody that's really cute, you're really interested in them, like, you can talk to them. But don't feel like you have to talk about how you feel about them right off the bat. Observe them. Like, see who they are around your friends, around their friends, how people speak of them, what their habits are without any ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is, like, such a huge sign as to, like, who a person is like, they're not trying to, like, you know, peacock in front of you.
Like, yeah.
So
that's
I think
a good point.
that's my biggest advice that I wish I would have gotten.
I feel like I got a little bit of that because even though I knew Kyle would be a big part of my life, again, like, we still had, like, that bigger age gap in between. So it's the first thing when I saw him in my mind wasn't like, I need to date this man. Like, and at the time too, he was, like, kind of talking to another girl, like, very on the end of it. And so I knew nothing would happen, but, like, we just kind of became best friends. Yeah. And it was like, oh, cool, this is awesome. And then it wasn't until later on a little bit.
I don't feel like you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because again, I did that, right? Like, Joey and I were just friends before. That was on purpose. But it just happened, you know? I don't feel like you have to do that, though. No. Like, if somebody is really interested in you and they ask you out and
like,
they're very kind and polite about it.
You can start off that way.
You can start dating. But I would encourage you, if you're going to date right off the bat and you don't know them as friends beforehand, that you date in groups. So you, like, go on group events and you do these kinds of, and I know it's not, like, romantic, but, like, you don't need to be romantic with your boyfriend, like, right out the gate. Yeah. What you're trying to do when you're first starting to date somebody in your early adulthood is figure out who they are. Yeah. You don't need to be romantic to do that. Yeah. Like, you don't. Figure out who they are in group settings. And it, one, helps with temptation, and two, it helps to actually get to know them. Yeah. Because they can't lie in front of a bunch of people that they know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And you have, not in a bad way, but you have witnesses. Like, there's so many people around you, too, to be also like,
whoa, I noticed this behavior, and it's hella weird. I don't like it. Yeah. So, I think those are the biggest ones. What about you? What are some things that you think that, like, modern dating, especially with the young adults?
That's a good one. It's a hard question for me, again, because I did, like, meet Kyle and we just were like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is it, and like get married and move on. But however, I think on the opposite end of the spectrum, a little bit of what I had noticed with like a little bit of my young adult dating scene is that I think, as sucky as it sounds hearing, a lot of people are just case by case. And as much as like I want to, of course there's things like you look for in a partner and like we're talking about, but I'm going to speak heavy onto like influences and friends and people around you and how important they are.
Yeah.
Because again, you might be interacting like kind of a gal that Kyle and I had knew of when we like first started dating and we like got pretty serious.
Yeah.
They kind of asked us the question of like, why are you guys around each other? Like why do I now have to invite Grace to things? You know, of like, it's finding the respect of new couples, but also you might meet a couple who is going to criticize you because they've waited to something that they felt convicted on that you didn't feel convicted on. And to that point, I think it's great if you can, or if you have a mentor around you, to like ask for opinions, ask questions.
Be okay asking
because
for it.
like I had a friend who she was very adamant on like, I will not hold hands with my partner. I will not kiss my partner before like X, Y, and Z. And like it kind of got looked down upon me when I like kissed Kyle or when I like held his hand before we were engaged. And then so then that's like made me start to question a part in me of like, well, am I doing something wrong? Like I think my advice would be to just listen to your convictions and like pray and seek for that guidance in a relationship. Boundaries are so important, but don't put them on other people if they're not needed, you know? And I think that's why like it's nice to have a mentor or older people or experienced people, because I went to one and I was like, hey, like, are we a bad couple for, oh, we kissed, you know, like before we got engaged.
Okay, this is to say too, the Bible is very clear, sexual immorality before marriage, like sexual immorality period is wrong.
Yeah.
That includes so many things.
Yes.
So many things.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
endless things. And so I do know people that take it so severely that like you cannot kiss before you're married, right? Because they're like, well, that's sexual immorality. It's just such a
hard. That's what I'm saying. Like it feels very case by case, and not that I'm saying like find your way around whatever.
Yes.
I'm just saying like, again, if both of you are like true believers searching after the Lord's will, he will let you know when something's wrong.
Yep. Well, this is probably bad of me. But I do, like, I feel like the hard line for me is, like, if gay people think that it's sex, don't do it. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's really funny.
But I've had, like, I grew up like, where people were like, well, this thing I can do with my girlfriend because it doesn't count because it's not actually
it's not penetration.
Sex.
Like, that's what you hear.
And I'm, like, literally like, well, okay, but, like, lesbians think that's how they have sex. So that's got to be sexual immorality, you know?
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with down there, stay away.
You're like, don't do it.
Everything else, I don't know. That's on you and the Lord.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a good hard boundary. Is like anything below the belt is an absolute no.
No.
Everything else is like, I don't know. I just don't know.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying go do whatever you want. Yeah, but I'm just saying like watch intentions, and like I said, like the Lord will convict you. Like ask for the conviction.
Yeah.
Like again, with praying and like in our relationship, we'd be like, Lord, like convict us if you don't want X, Y, and Z. Or like, because when we first started dating, we had a hard boundary of like we would not go in each other's bedrooms, and then we found that actually wasn't an issue for us, and we would just watch movies and play games, and we'd leave the door open. Like that's what I mean. But also, if you know that like that's a temptation for you, don't engage in it. It wasn't for us. And so we were like, okay, that's fine. And we like watched, like I said, watched movies.
Every couple is so different and unique and individual that it's like hard to like set hard boundaries, like that kind of stuff. But I think that again, if you struggle with something, like know yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know like what causes issues.
Exactly.
So that you can set those boundaries well before those happen.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Know yourself. Pray for the conviction.
Yeah.
So the Lord will give it to you.
Yeah. Dating can be so wonderful, though. I think that it can be so fun and, like, just an exciting time in people's lives. Like, I love when people are, like, full-fledged in love.
Me too.
Like, starting to date.
So sweet.
And they just do. They want to spend all their time with each other. I think it's, like, the best thing
adorable.
ever. Yeah. So if you have the mindset of, like, what is marriage, first off, too, kind of doing some definitions with marriage.
Okay.
The Bible tells us, and I am pulling up verses now.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend that was like, can you please put the verses? I like need to bookmark
I want to know. Yeah.
So I'm going to look them up here. But there's a Bible verse that talks about when Jesus is confronted and the Pharisees are trying to say like, oh, well, this woman by the old law, like if she got married and then her husband died and she got married to the brother or whatever, and then he died, got married to the brother, whose wife is she in heaven? And he literally is like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
There is no marriage.
No, there's no marriage in heaven.
In heaven. Doesn't exist.
Which is wild to think about, but no, there's no marriage in heaven.
Hold on.
Doesn't he say like neither?
Yeah. It's Matthew 22, 29 through 33. 29 through 31.
Okay.
Ish. But basically, like I said, like married to all these people, they all die. Who's she married to in heaven? And he responds, you are wrong because you know neither the scriptures nor the power of God. For in the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no marriage in heaven. It is an earthly thing. That's it. Which is crazy.
It is.
Absolutely crazy. Because I think that, again, we have this perspective of like, oh, heavenly marriage and like forever and ever. But like, no, when you're dead, that's it. Like it's a human convention. So why?
Yeah.
What is marriage for?
Yeah. I mean, I was always like taught and raised with like, dude, marriage is ministry. Like marriage is finding your ministry partner to enter a covenant with them to better and do the Lord's will for you to grow the kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I think that there's examples of that all throughout Scripture too.
Yeah.
The first one that comes to mind is Priscilla.
Yeah.
Or Aquila.
I was going to say, when I hear their names, I just associate Priscilla and Aquila.
I don't know.
I would need to pull up the verse. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so this is Acts 18. And this is like verse 24 on. And it's basically talking about how like a man who was really eloquent in speech and all this stuff and competent in the scriptures was like preaching in the crowds. And then in verse 26 it says, he began to speak boldly in the synagogue. But when Priscilla and Aquila heard him, they took him aside and explained to him the way of God more accurately. They were a married couple. They did ministry together. That is what their ministry was. They did it together. And so when you look at examples of like married couples in Scripture, they're doing ministry together.
Together, yeah.
And so I feel like, again, like if God placed this in us, like it has to be for the kingdom.
Yeah.
You know?
And that, I think, will call out a lot of people's intentions when you ask yourself, why am I wanting to get married?
Exactly.
Because I think another thing, too, that we can talk about this in the marriage episode or now, is the like feeling of like stuck in commitment couples get and have when they get engaged or even when they just start dating.
Yeah. Like I have to stay with this person and work out all these kinks.
Because like now we're engaged or now we're married. When I'm like, girl, you're not married yet. That covenant hasn't started.
Yeah.
Like work them out because again, since there is such a trend of like, let's use Kyle and I, for example, even you and Joey, of like, we both were like, got to a point in our relationship where we're like, yeah, like our next step is marriage. Like we've prayed over this pretty diligently and like we're getting the green light, we're going to get married together and like we know it's for a purpose of ministry and to further the kingdom. Wonderful. However, when you're getting into dating because you want to date or just because you want to get married, I feel like you can sense to kind of see a little bit of a feeling of like, oh, I'm stuck, or like it's like a, oh, like there's a weight to marriage, like know it before you engage in it.
No, 100%. I think that people that are dating or are engaged feel almost like, especially in the Christian cultures, feel this like obligation to get married.
Yeah, there's that obligation.
Don't feel that way.
No.
You do not have to marry anyone, like literally at all. Marriage is such a blessing and a good
how Paul
thing.
talks about marriage.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so the next one I was going to talk about was kind of on like divorce and more like that kind of stuff, and not going fully in depth, but just kind of talking about like, again, this idea of like, what is marriage? What is marriage, right?
Okay.
And it's the woman at the well. And if you've read the story, it's in John 4. But he basically runs into this woman and she's like drawing water and she's like not a happy camper. And he kind of calls her out and she's like, oh, well, you know.
Was she a Samaritan woman?
Huh?
Was she Samaritan?
She was too, yeah. And he goes like, well, call your husband. And she was like, oh, I don't have a husband. And he basically snaps back and is like, oh, you're right. You've got 5.
Yeah.
And she goes like, okay, like I can tell you're a man of God. Got it. And he basically says like, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know. For salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. And then he goes on to say, I am the Messiah, basically.
Yeah.
And she like marvels at that and is like runs over and is like telling all of her friends about it and all of this stuff. But it's really interesting because it never says what she does. I feel like that's such an interesting thing that I've like brought up to people because they always like when they talk about divorce and stuff like that. I think it was really intentional that like it was left out of the Bible what the woman does.
With her husbands.
With her husbands. With her situation.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that marriage is the focus of life.
No, it's not. Ooh, that whole picture right there was all about salvation. And she went and she shared that news.
We have no idea what she did. Like nothing.
Because again, as wonderful as marriage is, like, I mean, Paul talks about it often of like, for some, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Like, because now you're not concerned on what you're doing in your walk with the Lord. You're concerned with your husband or you're concerned with your wife.
Spouse, yeah.
And I think that brings such a weight and importance of who you marry.
Yeah.
And for what your reason is on why you want to get married.
100%. And I think that, again, it also bookends with this view that the Christians have on divorce, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But it can create this pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is.
Like well, if I know
is like divorce is seen as like the big ugly.
Yeah.
Like, you do not get divorced if you're a Christian. Like it's such a sin.
Yeah.
All sin separates you from God, right? Like some are worse than others. We do know that.
Yeah.
They're worse for you, worse for your soul, worse for other people. But like when it comes to divorce, like again, if you are committed for life, and like I said before, if you love each other or you love Jesus, you don't have a reason to get a divorce.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any reason.
Yeah.
You don't get divorces just because you don't like the person anymore. You don't love them anymore, all this stuff, like that kind of thing. If you're a believer of Christ, like you stay with people and you figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Because again, they're your ministry. You're your ministry partners. But it's also a freeing sense of like, well, if you're being abused in a relationship or they're cheating on you or they don't love you, you don't love them, and they don't love Jesus.
Okay, well, what's the purpose of marriage?
Yeah.
That's not fulfilling the purpose of marriage.
No. And like if you're living in a state of like self-hate because of your marriage, get some time. Like the Bible clearly says that like separation for an agreed amount of time with the idea of reconciliation at the end of it is like good and it's healthy for you.
It's okay.
To work things out. And like I did that multiple times with my ex.
Yeah.
Like I left him 4 separate times before I finally was like, there's nothing that I can do that you will actually change. Yeah. Like the way that you're treating me is unacceptable and you're cheating on me.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, like I know the Bible's also really strict on like, well, if you get remarried after divorce, it's adultery. Unless the reason for divorce is like this, and this.
Yeah.
Try not to get caught up in the details of that.
Yeah.
Because again, you're creating legalism.
Yeah.
It's the heart behind it.
Yeah.
God does not want what is joined by him to be separated for no good freaking reason.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. In the Old Testament, he allowed divorce by just passing a slip of paper, like a decree of divorce. Like, that's it. It's over. No good reason was needed. Nothing like that. And so he far goes the opposite side in the New Testament by saying, like, no, like, you don't understand because you were treating it like it was nothing, but it is something. It is important.
Yeah.
And so I think that, again, like, God is the same.
Yeah.
Marriage is an earthly thing.
Yeah.
But you still need to treat it like it's holy.
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
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 That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think
I know.
if there was
like,
other.
Anything else?
I think there was one more thing I was curious about. Questions to ask when you're dating. I wanted to do that.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
what questions do you think that you should be asking the person that you're interested in when you start dating them?
Oh, that's so good. Okay, let me think of some of the questions Kyle and I asked each other.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Obviously, we talked about like kids. You know.
Yeah.
We talked definitions of like what's your faith? Like what do you believe? You know. Made sure we like agreed on the same purpose of marriage. How they handle conflict, dude. Hobbies. I know that sounds surface and a little silly, but like. I can't imagine having 2 completely different hobbies and then constantly being like, well, I want to go but I want to go. It's like, I don't know. That would be really hard. But I'm like trying to think of more like juicy questions.
I feel like I took the Dave Ramsey course and I remember that his thing is that he says that you need to be on the same page.
This is huge.
Money, family, kids. Family, kids. Well, family is like in-laws.
Yeah, yeah.
So like what to do with in-laws. Money, in-laws, kids, faith.
Yes.
Is that it? I think there might be another one.
I don't remember.
But it was like the big ones or whatever. And I think we use that a lot as our basis. Like when I was asking Joey all these questions, I was like, well, what's your family dynamic like?
Yeah.
How did they resolve conflict? How does this
so
work?
Important.
And I think another thing that was really important, and this wasn't as much a question to ask him as it was like a thing to observe, is how people spoke about him.
Yeah.
He had such a huge community back in New York, and every single person I ran into was like, oh my gosh, you were so lucky. Like, Joey is the best person I know. Like, he has such a heart after Jesus. We love him so much, and we're so excited for him to be with you. And I remember being like, oh, okay, this is a huge green flag, because I feel like my ex had no friends. My ex had no friends. Like, the people he called his best friends did not know him. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And like, his mom thought he was like the salvation of the world.
Yeah.
Like, loved him. But like, her character should have spoken a lot to like what she viewed him as to me, if that makes sense. And so like, the people that do speak really highly, make sure that you're also checking them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. That's really good. I feel like I've known, unfortunately, probably too many couples who didn't have like financial conversations before getting married. And like, again, I don't know the statistics, whether it's like Christian culture or not, but finances are one of the biggest things that can like disrupt a marriage.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's hard.
It's so huge. So just make sure you're on the same page about that and like have a plan moving forward.
Friends' opinions.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, in my situation, I had friends that were throwing opinions that did not know me, did not know him.
Yep.
But his friends in particular, the way they spoke about him was very highly, and they were very excited for me and for us.
Yeah.
And then the people that were really close to me and that were seeing things were like, oh my gosh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
They like were literally head over heels in love with him too. Like my dad was obsessed with him.
Awesome.
Like he was like, okay, he's like really cool.
That's awesome.
So I feel like that's a big one too.
That is a big one.
Because like I know situations, some people don't love the person that you're getting to know simply because of like exterior things.
Like we had a little bit of that. But again, the people who were actually close to us were like, I'm so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think don't neglect your friends' concerns.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, that, like, helped me so much. My one friend coming to me, like I said, in the beginning of our relationship, I didn't, instead of being like, now we're in love, like, I was like, oh, like, I actually, like, take into account what they say.
Yeah. I think, okay, easiest red flags to look for, and this is probably where I will be done, but the easiest red flags to look for, because I get this question a lot, is like, because I was in a relationship that was like manipulative and abusive. I have people that are like, well, did you know? No, I had no clue because I didn't even know what to look for.
What should we look for?
The biggest red flags that I, looking back, were like, that was an issue. Was one, again, he had no friends. He had no friends, no close friends. Nobody that was like, oh, this is my best buddy, you know? Nothing like that. The other thing was he was very secretive from the get-go. Very secretive. Very like, couldn't look at his phone, couldn't look at anything. He was like, oh no, like, that's weird. You know, he would make me feel weird for like asking, like, what's going on? Who are you texting?
Asking normal things.
Yeah, asking normal things. He was like, well, it's none of your business and stuff like that.
And being serious.
Yeah, and being serious.
Yeah.
So that was like another thing. I think the last thing that like I probably could have picked up on was that anytime I went and had friends over or was hanging out, he always got grumpy. He always got really, really grumpy and had to, it was almost like he had to have attention on him. And he didn't like that I was like spending my energy and time with other people.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He would not jump into conversations. He would not make friends with my friends. There was nothing like that. He spoke terribly about I feel so bad because I know that he is friends with these people now, but he spoke trash with some of my friends that I had, like spoke absolute garbage of them. That was a huge red flag too, was I was like, why are you speaking so ill of them? Like they didn't do anything, you know, like they're people. But yeah, every time we'd have friends over or anything, he was very like secluded. He would immediately withdraw and immediately like, it was almost like I had to go check in on him and make sure he was okay. Do you know what I mean? So those were like the biggest things that I could see. Early relationship, very isolating, no close friends, that kind of stuff. So be wary. If you are going on dates, you can kind of see this stuff pretty early on. Use it.
Get around your friends.
Get them around your friends. Make your friends be around them and see how they interact with him.
And like that also is a testament to your friends. Have good people around you. You are who you're with.
Like, 100%.
Make sure it's people you can trust their judgment.
100%. Anything else to add?
I don't think so.
It's a great
I feel
episode.
like, yeah.
I love this stuff. I'm hopeful that this like helps
Me
people.
too. Dude, just be prayerful.
Yeah.
Ask the Lord. He will tell you. He will give you the conviction.
Yeah, 100%.
Be prayerful.
Yep.
And also, like, don't be surprised or shocked if it's a green light or if it's a no. Like, listen, you know? Yep. Because, again, like...
You don't want to date somebody that's not into you either.
No.
Like, if it's a no and, like...
Don't make it work.
Don't make something work.
There was never a point in my relationship with Kyle where I was like, oh, like, I guess this could work out. Like, maybe when we get married or whatever. Like, no, like, I can make this work. It was like, this works. Yeah. You know?
I remember the 1 month that, like, everybody knew I was, like, getting a divorce and single. I got asked out, like, 3 separate times. And I remember every person that asked me out. There was even one guy, I feel so bad, but he, like, asked me out. And I was a little tipsy. And it was like, we were bar hopping for Halloween, and we like ran into him, and he like asked me out. He's like, when are you gonna let me take you on a date? And I remember looking him dead in the face and being like, oh. I was like, honey, you're ROTC. I am a single mom. Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. I like literally flat out was like, this would never work. Really appreciate you. Yeah. Best of luck with your life.
Yeah, and like that brings up like another little bit of a good point. Like, understand where people want their lives directions to go.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Don't feel like, oh, well, we have to make this work. Like, if you listen, if you like zing with somebody, you know what I mean?
Then you'll make it work.
You will make whatever work.
It'll work. Yeah. It's not like it'll feel like making it work.
It will just like line up and things will feel right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, in 2 weeks, we will talk about marriage and what marriage really is. And
that's it.
That's it. That's season
it for
1.
Season 1.
Thank you guys so much for listening and just being along the ride with us. It's been so much fun. Such a blessing. I feel like our conversations have gotten so honed in, and I feel like I'm learning so much too.
Me too. And like, it's been such a good challenge for me, even like biblically and like my own walk with the Lord. Yeah. It's been wonderful.
I love it. Well, we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.